And now, ladies and gentlemen, Richard Ingram.
This will be over before it's tomorrow. So good evening. I'd like to start by thanking a number of people who made this whole evening possible. My wife Susan and my daughter Leah had devoted many hours to plan the festivities of this afternoon and evening. They are indeed superheroes. Also, we thank the many volunteers who have helped in various ways today, especially Bob Kidd, who spent many hours over the past months to put together the video pieces. That does not just happen by magic. Hopefully, we've captured all the volunteers on the insert in your programs. Next, for their lifelong nurturing and love, I salute my family. My wife Susan, son Ben and his wife Kendra, daughter Leah, her husband Pat, and their sons Trevor and Ryan, who are still awake. Next of all my siblings are here with their families tonight, as well as many of Susan's family members. Thanks to all of these and other extended family members for their great support. Of course, the love and encouragement of my parents had a big influence upon me. My father passed away in 2014, and my mother passed away recently on May 6th. They attended almost every recital and program that I conducted, including in 1996 when the Huron Symphony Band, Symphony Orchestra, and a cappella choir all traveled to Carnegie Hall to appear on the ensemble debut series. I had many music teachers and professors along the way who encouraged me and gave me outstanding training. And it started young. Tom Johns, my junior high choir director. Bob Pratt, my high school choir director. At the University of Michigan, I got to study with some musical giants who were not only well known in their fields, but were also great human beings. Harold Haw, Ava Lakova, Lorna Haywood, who's here tonight, Maynard Klein, Tom Hilbish, and Janice Clark, who's also here tonight. I learned so much from each of them, and I pass on their wisdom every day to my students. My teaching is a result of their training, and I'm forever in their debt. Two colleagues that you've heard a little bit about tonight who filled the roles of mentor and later musical collaborators were Donald Williams and Ruth Dess. Donald was our church organist and choir director and gave me the opportunity to gain lots of experience conducting at Zion with him. One of my first memories of that experience was working with the junior high church choir with a baton. It hit the music stand and flew up. That was my first rehearsal. I did improve from that. Ruth was one of my high school choral directors and later my colleague at Huron. In 1987, the three of us, Donald and Ruth and myself, started the Ann Arbor Youth Chorale, a group which is still going strong. Of course, none of us works in a vacuum. I've been fortunate to have worked for many fine administrators and principals. Many of the following people are here in attendance tonight, and it means so much. Arthur Williams, Joanna Mile, Janet Schwam, Joyce Hunter, Linda Berg, and Robin Bailey. Thank you. My citywide colleagues, music colleagues, have inspired me to continually improve. I will never forget the circle of general music teachers who adopted me when I first started teaching at Carpenter, especially Lillian Holtfretter, Sue Lawson, and Kay Long. They were willing to pass on their accumulated wisdom and have become lifelong friends. Then, there are my Huron music colleagues. You've heard from them tonight, and I'll take a moment now to make a few remarks about them. Larry Dittmar. Larry was one of the first Ann Arbor Public School music teachers that I met when I started teaching at Carpenter Elementary. He encouraged me to apply for the job at Huron when it became available. When he retired in 2000, I felt that Larry was truly one of my closest friends. We collaborated so many times over the years. His generous, positive attitude was always present. His fine work with students was recognized throughout the state. He still comes to Huron concerts and even stops by the next day to tell the students what a great performance they gave. He is a true river rat to the core. Tim Crone is in his 6th year with us. In that short time, it's not short to him, but many of us it is. He has displayed an amazing ability to inspire his orchestras to reach an unusually high standard of musical understanding of some of the great works of the Western world. Tim's dedication to collaborative leadership will help propel the Huron Music Department to continued growth and success. I wish the best to this talented colleague. Allison Hendricks, our newest Huron music staff member, is in her 2nd year. This year, we've been undertaking the writing of the International Baccalaureate curriculum for our beginning band, orchestra, and choir. Allison has been the leader of this effort. She's led us down this difficult and sometimes tortuous path with the confidence of a seasoned veteran. On top of that, she's shown an outstanding ability in her work with the varsity band students. Allison has a great future ahead of her. Steve Roberts. There have only been 12 of my years at Huron when the band director has not been named Steve Roberts. Our long friendship, as he told you, actually began a number of years before Steve came to Huron when he'd play the trombone at Zion. The band program at Huron has had some great leaders over the years. The level of playing that Steve Roberts has achieved with the Huron band program has been recognized as exemplary in our state for many years. It's one thing to build a program. It's a lot harder to sustain excellence over a long time period. The Huron bands play with a musicality that's usually reserved for the college level. Huron will really miss Steve in his well-deserved retirement. Mary Ann and Carl Baldiff have been part of our Huron choral family for many years. We thank them for their service to our department as accompanist and sound engineer. And finally, Bonnie Kidd. Bonnie and I have worked together, as she told you, for 24 years. For two musicians to work together for that length of a time period, there has to be at its core a sincere mutual admiration for the musicality and teaching pedagogy of each other, as well as a solid friendship. Bonnie is one of the finest musicians that I know. She's fiercely devoted to the Huron choir program. I know that there are fine conductors out there. who are not primarily performers as well. But I firmly feel that our combination of vocal performance, conducting and teaching ability has been a powerful one in our work together here at Huron. Thanks, Bonnie, for your fine work and your friendship. One cannot overstate the impact of working with a group of colleagues who continually force you to come to work with your A game every day. From the beginning, we've put collaboration high on our list of priorities because we believe that students will benefit from seeing the results of their teachers working together. Music is a collaborative endeavor. It's difficult, but it's worth every bit of the struggle along the way. So what is unique about music making, or in this case, singing in a choir, that it can impact the lives and attitudes of its members? It has been a blessing to each of us that we've been able to spend such a significant part of our lives exploring, analyzing, and performing works by some of the most profound literary and musical minds. To dive into a new piece of music and discover the genius of the composer in terms of musical structure, and to find out how they have chosen to portray the text is exciting. To have it be your career and to be able to share that journey every day with others is even better. One of our songs that we're singing tonight for you is Sure on This Shiny Night by California composer Morton Lauritsen, with words by American poet James Agee. Agee's beautiful text sets the scene of looking out at the bright summer sky and the feeling of wonderment and awe at the sight. Lauritsen combines the timeless feel of Gregorian chant with contemporary harmonies to complement the emotions of Agee's text of unbridled joy and amazement at this glorious sight. Singing in a choir demands both self-expression and complete trust in each other and the other members of the ensemble. As a group, we can accomplish amazing things, but only if everybody buys into this understanding. To be expressive sounds easy, but it's difficult because each member is required to take risks, to step forward and deliver the text in a meaningful way. At our best, we all become musical poets. Our success is only possible with dedicated teamwork. Every person is important. No one can hold back. One of the reasons that I stayed so long at Huron was that the students here have been willing to buy into that sort of philosophical outlook. Producing art is hard work. It's important work, which never must be allowed to disappear. Some have asked me what have been some highlights for me in these 42 years. Obviously, we would be here until tomorrow or Tuesday if I talked about all of them. So here are a few. Number one, the 2006 concert in Segni, Italy, a small town, that we gave with an Italian adult choir. This turned into a true cultural exchange. They didn't know much English, and we really didn't know much Italian, but it didn't matter. The interchange between the two choirs, and especially between the audience and the choir, was inspiring. At the end of the concert, now you'll get to hear the Vivo Ave Maria in just a few moments. At the end of the concert, the audience was so enthusiastic they demanded that we repeat the Vivo Ave Maria. And that's a 9-minute piece. 2015, we went to Berlin and Prague, and we did a concert at this beautiful church that you saw some shots of San Salvatore. This time, It was a spectacular acoustic. We got to hear some other choirs. They had a choir competition that weekend, and we got to sing in the opening concert. We got to hear an outstanding women's choir from Prague. We got to hear an outstanding high school choir from the Republic of Georgia. These were people that they didn't speak any English, and we didn't speak their languages, but we communicated through our music. Number 3, career highlight. Having one of my students named as a presidential scholar and being asked to accompany him and his parents to Washington, D.C. for the ceremony as he had named me as his most influential educator. He'd been my student in the Ann Arbor Youth Chorale, my choir student here at Huron. He had also been in band and orchestra, and now he teaches at the Naval Academy in Annapolis. Number 4, 2001, we were supposed to go to Prague, but 9/11 happened. So that got canceled then, and we went the next year in 2002. We were to sing at the St. Thomas Church on Sunday morning, and there was a mass going on when we got there, so they put us in a little chapel to warm up. Now, I had already been in the church and up in the balcony where we sang from, and so we went right from the chapel up this windy stone staircase, and all of a sudden, the door opened and we were in the balcony of this beautifully, newly restored Baroque church with paintings on the ceiling, these little putti looking down from the dome at us, and the students just were awestruck at the sight, because they hadn't been inside. And to be able to see that moment was worth the whole trip. That's why we do these things. From our many musicals that we performed, 2 of the most memorable, I think, are Sweeney Todd, which you may think, that's really a strange choice. Sweeney Todd was the hardest musical we've ever done, barring none. For the orchestra, for the singers, it was a miracle that we learned this score, and one of the most satisfying in my life. I have a lifelong now admiration for the composer. Absolutely, Stephen Sondheim, absolutely brilliant. And doing Sweeney Todd was an education for me. And so it's wonderful that you can keep being educated year in and year out for a long time. Another one that I love just because it's so darn much fun is Guys and Dolls that we just did recently. Interesting thing, when we did Guys and Dolls, then the University of Michigan did it a little bit later that spring. And, you know, here they have kids that are singing on Broadway and things like that. And so the thing that I really appreciated about our performances of Guys and Dolls is that in most performances of that show, the characters are pretty cartoonish. They're not deep at all. We had singers who gave depth to the characters. And that, to me, was part of the reason we do musical theater, is to tell these stories. The last highlight, I would say, is not one experience, but a culmination. The preparation for everything we've done these 42 years. The fun is in the preparation of improving every single day, and the performances are the result of that preparation. Why do I love teaching with high school kids? A lot of my adult friends say, "You like that?" Well, because as a teacher, you have the opportunity to help them to discover how they can become adults who can lead meaningful lives. So students, go with your gut. Several of our former river rats are making quite a name for themselves in music and theater right now. We have a singer appearing on Broadway. We have an actor who's starring in a major television series. We have a composer who's studying in London. We have an actor who's made his living as an actor-singer for over 25 years in California. We have an a cappella choir alum who's making his living as a theater tech professional in Chicago. We have recording artists. They are students who are driven to try to make a living in the arts. If that's you, then prepare yourself to be an artist at the highest level. Be open to unusual opportunities. The window of opportunity is narrow. The good news is your plan B and plan C and plan D can also include the arts. The folks who will be singing in a few moments have become successful human beings in many fields. They have wonderful families and serve as role models to everyone around them. We're proud of all of them. They've become successful people who love the arts. They came together during their high school years to sing in a choir. The lessons learned in choir have helped to prepare them for life. Tonight we celebrate our shared love of music. Thank you.